Hey, there we go. It worked. That's where it was broken for a second. Am I doing okay? Do I not have the microphone work? Do I not have double echo or anything like that? I always gotta do the goddamn check. Is it still doubled? Is it still doubled, or is it good now? Fucking ridiculous. What do people pay me for? Oh my god. All right, cool. Hey everybody, how you doing? For those who don't know me, my name is Nick Marinelli, and I am the Executive Director of MAGFest, Inc. This is the monthly Fireside chat where I talk about things that are going on at all levels of the organization, high to low, and oftentimes people working on the very specific nitty-gritty about scheduling and booking and all that don't get a chance to see what's going on at the nonprofit level, at the company level, what the employees are doing, what the long-term plans are. So this is a chance to tell people what's going on and to give you all a chance to ask questions. If you want me to ask, or yeah, if you want to ask me any questions, you want me to answer any questions, this is the link here. Please feel free to ask anything you want, that's relevant and not illicit. This is the chance to ask hard-hitting questions or soft-hitting questions, whatever. You want to know something? I'm here to answer that stuff. And this link right here, books, it links into my Google Calendar, and it allows you to book a time with me. It should be pretty accurate about when I'm available. Sometimes there's stuff that's not recorded, so I'll let you know if I can't make the time you request. But you can request the time with me for any reason. Don't feel shy. Just go ahead and head in there. Please use this form to ask questions, as I can't really go through and look at the stream chat as we go, though I'll try to do a look through at the end of the stream just to see if there's any extra questions in there that weren't in the form. And as always, I will post a link to a Google Hangout in the YouTube and Slack stream chat at the end for people to come in and hang out and talk about whatever. So jumping into things. Super MAGFest. It was a thing. It happened. It was amazing. It was the biggest one ever by 2,000 people. Just when I think the thing can't get any bigger, it grows by 10%. And it was our biggest one, and as far as I can tell, our smoothest one ever. I don't think I need to knock on wood anymore at this point. When I say that, like, hardly there was no major security incidents. Oh my god, that's usually what brings me down. Operations, as far as I could tell, we're going smoothly. A bit of a staff shortage on Saturday that we'll look into and see the best ways to help recruit staff to fill in departments. But yeah, it was amazing, and it's all thanks to you people. You're the ones that make MAGFest happen, and sure I'm here. I talk a lot and I fill out paperwork and whatnot, but MAGFest happens because of the community that runs it. So thank you all for doing that. Make sure to head over to the shoutouts channel in Slack. That's #. That's right, I said it, not hashtag. Shoutouts. Give props to the people that help you the most. Give people the recognition they deserve. I personally got to give huge shout outs to Emily Hickman and Steiger. I could not have run the ops div without them. We ran the ops div together, the three of us, and they were incredible. Thank you both to them so much for, and even non-ops stuff they helped with. Thank you to both of them. The next Super MAGFest, as was announced at closing ceremonies, is January 2nd, 2020. That is, well, January 2nd through the 5th. Yeah, that starts the day after New Year's. Yeah, it's shitty. Yeah, loading's going to be a bitch, but we're well aware of this, and we have plenty of advance notice, and we have learned some things about the tight move-in this year. So we are going to do everything we can to make sure that it goes okay. If nothing else, we're not going to have this problem for the foreseeable future at the Gaylord, because we don't have any New Year's date for the next 5. Oh yeah, about that. We were signed on the Gaylord until 2023, and New Year's Eve we finalized the contract to extend out to 2025, which is that's a real year and not a fake made up number that doesn't exist. The Gaylord gave us an offer we could not refuse. Colette and Dom did a great job working together to put together a really good contract, and got a backdated like all of these amazing concessions that the Gaylord was giving us, so we have consistent concessions starting next year all the way till 2025. It's going to make things a lot easier. So we are in good shape for the next 5 years, and don't have to think too much at the moment for the next 6 months, maybe year, about where Super Mag goes beyond that. But it is an interesting thing to think about, because do we want Super Mag to get bigger than the Gaylord? Will it mess with the vibe? My instinct is to keep it around the size it is and make more MAGFest events like MAGWest and such. That's the running theory. But the BOD would be particularly interested if you have any thoughts on long-term future of MAGFest. And since we are a non-profit dedicated to preservation, appreciation of video games, game music, and gaming of all types, we don't just have to do events. We could always go into like museum exhibits, resources for musicians and game developers and preservers and whatnot. But yeah, always interested in hearing ideas about that. So yeah, like things are looking really bright. We did really well this year. Some bits of sad news for those who haven't heard. Steph Prater is no longer working for MAGFest. She'll still be hanging around as a volunteer for the guest department, the panels department, and the demo party. And I really wish Steph the best in wherever she goes next. And I really got to give her thanks for being the driving force behind the finances and our guests and the programming division all these years, and as well as leading the charge on all the cultural exchange partnerships with the Polish government we've been doing. So make sure to reach out to her and give her thanks and say hi to her, see how she's doing. So when it comes to like handing off Steph's stuff, her programming division head teammate Mike Kemp is still ready for action, still on board, and he'll be taking up mantle on that front. So hit him up if you have any questions about the programming division overall. Other than that, all the other programming div departments are still operating as usual. Heather Fantasy is with the guest department as well. When it comes to finance things, if you have any expense reports, continue to submit them through Tally as normal. Please do not be late with those. And if you have any reimbursement requests, you can send those to expenses@magfest.org as usual. Responses may be a little delayed, But our part-time bookkeeping assistant, Lauren Schwartz, who had been helping out Steph for months, Lauren still wants to help out during this transitional phase. We're going to go through the full-blown hiring process for getting a bookkeeper soon, but we're going to quickly try to get an interim bookkeeper in place, and Lauren's going to help us again during that transition as we do that. Getting an interim bookkeeper as quick as we can will buy us time until the more formal hiring process, which that interim bookkeeper would be welcome to apply to. If you're interested and qualified in helping out with bookkeeping, send an email to jobs@magfest.org, or refer anyone you know to jobs@magfest.org. We'll have a job description for that. It's likely a part-time position, almost certainly a part-time position, in the next week or so. Not going to do like a full blast of the job description, to open up to as far and wide as we can, just because we're trying to get this filled as quick as we can, so that we can get ourselves propped up until the more formal process. Other news, bittersweet. Our volunteer manager, Ashley Nicolette, accepted a job as an event coordinator for a professional Overwatch team. So she submitted her resignation, and her last day is tomorrow. I'm really sad to see her go, though I can't blame her, because that job sounds cool as hell. A lot more interesting than all the documentation she had to write right here. I really she was only with us for like a year and a half, but accomplished so much in that time. She made the Slack code of conduct, the volunteer handbook. She got a good chunk of the department head handbook done. Rebuilt the staff suite from scratch with brand new department heads. She pushed us forward in huge strides for awareness in mental health and sexual assault. She searched endlessly for the perfect volunteer portal platform until she found the one that was really right for us. And that's Notion, by the way, if you haven't used that yet. And she really just did so much more. So thank you, Ashley, and good luck on your journeys ahead. Ashley will still be hanging around, but probably not with Stop Stuff. She mentioned LAN. But yeah, we'll see where she goes from there. For stops, most of the cleanup from Super Mag is done, and Josiah is still available to answer any stops questions. In the meanwhile, we got to start searching for a new volunteer manager and put together a job description. I'm going to talk to Ashley about lessons learned with this, to see who's the best person we can hire for the job. One thing I've been thinking about is possibly maybe searching for someone in the HR field for a volunteer manager. And HR can sound like a scary corporate term, but like there's a lot of like new age in HR stuff you need to know about compliance stuff, legality of this and that, but there's lately been a really heavy focus on interpersonal skills, mediation, support, growth development. Industrial psychology is a college major that is feeding a lot of people into the HR field, so that's a really cool thing. And I know that the office needs HR help in general, because it's impossible to keep track of this shit. It seems, with hope, you could get both in the same position, but actually did a lot of work, so who knows? I don't know. Open to feedback on that one, because like as we're hiring for that. really we're about due for a reorg here. And reorg doesn't mean like, oh, okay, well, we're everybody, you're all fired, get the hell out of here. It's we learned a lot in the past couple of years since the last one, um, and it's great because with all those lessons learned, um, we're in a really good place to start improving even more. Um, I've talked to a few of you all, and 2018 was utter hell for me. Um, uh, I was really on the verge of moving on, telling the board that you just find somebody else. Just a whole lot of stuff that I was unprepared for, and I didn't know how to ask help for, and even if I did, and whenever I did, people didn't know the answer, which I suppose the right way to interpret that is, well, then we're all doing the best we can, and we really um, can't expect more than that. But yeah, I mean, I one-on-one, I got real with a lot of you. That is, I wasn't sure, but the past couple weeks, I've felt really energized, felt renewed. Um, like I want to make sure I'm not like in a manic state or something, but like at this point, I feel ready to take on the world, um, and take it on with all of you. Uh, a first my first year and a half here was tough. Like the last couple of years were hard just because of having to go through the reorg and having a lot of staff turnover, especially parting with some staff that just didn't belong. But the year before that was really rough because I'm sure you all remember the damn near mutiny. Um, uh, with huge, with a lot of discontent and schism between volunteers and management. Um, and I've talked to you all before how the, the stress and the whole situation uh, in I won't say pushed because it's a bad connotation. I'll say it's inspired me to get mental health help, which I cannot be more thankful for, and I really encourage everyone to do it. But that was a very, very rough time. But after when I moved into the acting executive director role a couple of years ago, and we started doing our reorganization. Ever since then, I know that the one thing I can always count on is the support from the volunteer community, and that's not to say like oh, you always just gotta puff up my ego. I know you all can be real with me, but also per the core value of support. Um, have the genuine desire to see success, and so I really gotta thank all of you, because I couldn't do this without your help. Um, so one of the things, one of the big lessons learned over the past couple of years was it was pretty plainly obvious that I was doing too much, but there's kind of like a general like we've been doing too much, at least on the office level. The org chart, it's as is with the executive director, and then the administrative division, and then the events division, for all the employees over here and all the event leaders over here. it's pretty flat hierarchically, which means there's a whole lot of individual relationships to manage directly underneath one person. Um, and even if you put like uh, like an events director in between the executive director and the events division, it's still pretty rough. So I'm just kind of not brainstorming, but I've been thinking about this for a while. I'm not listing a proposal. We need input on this, but reorg things to make it so that why am I having trouble verbalizing this? I know for me personally, having fewer people to have a tighter relationship with is much more sustainable than having a lot of people with not as tight a relationship. And then, but those fewer people can then have a tighter relationship with a few people below them. And below that, I don't imagine it would change a whole lot. But kind of like the TLDR of that is that I'm kind of thinking that maybe getting like hiring a lot of like operational positions for the office. I say operational, I mean like specific role positions, and then maybe one or two people above them that are like coordinators for them. That's one potential idea I've had. Boards got a homework assignment to put together some ideas on their own. I don't have any pictures now, but we had like some post-it note and whiteboard exercises in the office. If you have ideas, please contribute to the conversation. We'll have something much more solid in place in time for spring MAGCom, which is looking to be in May-ish. Don't have solid dates, but the hotel team is pushing on that hard. But of course, you're going to hear more before then, of course, because we're going to be running things constantly by you all for help. Where was I going with that? But there are ideas for specific operational roles that, frankly, just thinking about the idea of hiring that person like makes me feel so much better. I really want to hire a security coordinator. Part-time, very, very part-time. I can't imagine them working any more than a few hours a month outside of event months. But someone to coordinate, like with Dorsai, with police, with EMS, to lead the SAFE committee, who are the people who evaluate like harassment complaints and something like that. Someone who can really lead the charge on making sure that it's making sure that people get banned that are supposed to get banned. That's not a great way of looking at it. Making sure that we have a healthy, safe culture. How's that? It's emotionally laborious. That task by itself is emotionally laborious. So putting it on any of the employees as is, or putting it on a volunteer to be like the decision maker for that is rough. But if there's someone dedicated to that, with team volunteers to back them up, I think that could work out really well. I just happened to see that Scribbles asked about more police on site this year. And Scribbles, she's asking how that worked out. Pretty well, as far as I know. I still need to do a post-mort with the Dorsai, but the police was our choice. We've been talking about that for years, and frankly, I honestly thought that we were doing it a few years ago, but it turns out we hadn't done it since like MAGFest 9, when we hired police for the New Year's party there. And again, though I haven't seen the full report from Dorsai yet, I know that the process of planning to work with the Prince George's police was very pleasant. Like when I got in contact with them, right off the bat, the special events coordinator, Lieutenant Essing, already said that he knew about MAGFest and he was a fan. I don't know if he had ever been personally, but he knew of us, and he knew we were good people. And like they talked about how their specialty was being visible but not overbearing. They were there to just kind of make sure that to be backup for our security for Dorsai when we needed somebody arrested and couldn't. And it would always take a really long time in the past to wait for the police to show up and take away in the paddy wagon. But yeah, being there to back up our security, as well as there's a certain amount of security, additional safety you get in just seeing police officer, but also making sure they're not like dressed in full riot gear. Anyway, I kind of went off on a tangent there, but yeah, security person, and frankly, I think it might be easy to get, not easy to get them, put out a net, probably get someone within the next few weeks, a month, hopefully. If you know anybody interested in helping with that very part-time position, jobs@magfest.org. Some other stuff, the finances, again, we're going to get another bookkeeper, and at the same time, I have been interviewing accounting firms. I think I have interviewed 7 or 8 of them so far. 3 of them were at MAGFest itself. 2 highlights where I talked to Oticon's accounting firm. I talked to SmashCon's accounting firm. Oh, very nice people. And so I'm going to work with the finance committee to help get a solid accounting firm, because you can kind of roughly divide like the money jobs into bookkeeping, which is making sure all the numbers line up, and then finance, which is defining what the numbers should be and what they should mean, and that requires damn close to a CPA, which is not something that's cheap to hire as a full-time job. So it makes a whole lot more sense to outsource it versus a bookkeeper, which is very common to have as a part-time in-house position. I am, I used to be excited to get like video games for Christmas, but now like I'm really excited to get like really good spreadsheets and reports of our finances. It's always been a pain in the ass to set budgets. We've always been behind in our financial reporting, and I'm excited to really hit the gas and get some solid, consistent procedures and policies and reporting, so that you all can actually get accurate budgets and spending reports and know what you spent money on before. I'll stop nerding out about that now. Been thinking about hiring either a part-time IT person or maybe a contractor. IT separate from software development, which we still have Vicky doing software development for Reggie's stuff, and maybe we'll pull in some more help there. I don't have to really talk much about that. But IT, like there's a whole lot of looking through G Suite. Just some things are a mess. Our permissions and our storage for Drive, our credential management, LastPass. There's a lot of holes where like we don't quite know like who's in charge of what. With like DNS is an example, SSL, like who's really in charge of that. Our Jira and our Confluence servers, you don't have any way to maintain those. So yeah, thinking about that, and for people familiar with IT contracting, especially, it's this weird weird possible convergence of IT and in HR, of credential management and doc organization. Open for input on that one. Grants, a development director, as is traditionally known in the nonprofit world. This might be someone that could be fairly outsourced, possibly. Excuse me. Last year, or was it the year before? Oh my God, it's been a while. We got a contractor to do grant research for us. And they put together a very comprehensive report of both grants and foundations we could apply for, as well as potential corporate corporate entities that may give us free shit. Because you know how important it is to us to not have like big corporate sponsor logos and all of that. That's not to say we can't ever work with corporations. Did you know that MAGFest is sponsored by Red Bull? No, you never would. All you know is that 40 cases of Red Bull show up in the band green room every year. Very nice people to work with. What's I talking about? Oh, right. The contractor put together this great calendar that basically says in this month, and these are annually repeating things. In this month, apply for this grant, ask for this much, and possibly use these contacts as a way to get in. And yeah, there's a pretty decent chunk of change in there. It's a good path to explore. It's worth the investment. The investment may not pay off, but it's worth trying. I recently learned that Oticon, a nonprofit organization, really hardly gets anything from grants. Pretty paltry amount compared to their operating expenses. But we're not really going to find out how it works for MAGFest unless we try. HR is again a big thing. Just because there's all kinds of skills involving interpersonal mediation and just standard employment practices that I have no fucking idea what I'm doing, and nor do a lot of people. Especially helping with like performance reviews, performance management, compensation management. Yes, speaking of that, I don't think I'm overstepping too much here. So we are going to get a. I never know how much to pay people, and frankly, we are vastly underpaying the employees now. And the way one typically figures that out is you get a salary study done, where someone comes in, interviews the employees, says what do you do, how often do you do it, what's your workload, this that, so all about it, and then they crunch the numbers and figure out what the market rate position for that person would be, keeping in mind, considering the organization's annual budget, the location, whether or not it's a nonprofit, the sector, and all of that. I don't personally care about changing my salary too much, but I am going to fight hard to make sure that we maybe can't do market rates, but I want to make sure that MAGFest employees are fairly compensated. And as we look to hire more people, I want to make sure that we're offering good compensation so that we can get the best people there are. Because when it comes to like this HR stuff and finances, I'm done fucking around with this shit. We need to get serious, and we need to get the best of the best on this, because quite frankly, it costs a lot more to not have the best, which is why I keep saying to the board they should find someone pay twice as much for an executive director and get 4 times the work out of them. But in the meanwhile, I'm doing the best I can. Yeah, there'll be a lot of reorg stuff in the next couple months. In the meanwhile, the immediate stuff on the horizon. West. Did I skip over that? The West chairs are Deborah and the West chairs. West chairs are Ben, Tristan, Scott Montgomery, Jessica McCormick. They are very close to signing a contract, so we're about to kick into high gear for that. The arcade department, console department, and warehouse is planning AwesomeCon. We're going to do a big arcade there as well. Katsacon is coming up in not in like a week, 2 weeks, like Valentine's Day weekend. That'll be a promo event if anyone wants to join in on that. GDC, Game Developers Conference, not a fantastic promo venue, but really good for networking. Probably be going out to that. I'll be heading out to VGM Con in Minneapolis. They're like a portal back into MAGFest 3 days, except far more organized than we ever were. So I'm gonna go out there. It's Minneapolis the weekend of like February 23rd or something. I'll be out there to help them and go to that event. The next few months of employee work plans that we put together are as much as possible focused almost purely on infrastructural things, not event things, with the exception of the work that Deborah and Dak are doing for West. This is one of the few times a year that we can actually get that quadrant 2 stuff done, as Deborah calls it. The important but not urgent stuff, the stuff that easily gets pushed away and ends up costing you in the long run. Yeah, I think that's all I got for this chat here. Oh, of course, questions as always. Let me go through. There's some old ones that I already answered last time. Get rid of those. Format. Butterscotch asks, when is MAGFest going to be? It's going to be, I believe, it's like late August or early September. They're super close to getting the dates. They should get them, with any luck, by the end of the week. Almost certainly next week. Dates coming very soon. Are there any venues being looked at for the... that was Dr. Butterscotch. That's that last one. King Donut asks, are there any venues being looked at for the return of Mag Labs? So Mag Labs, the research team has talked about bringing back like the full event in 2020. And in the meanwhile, exploring different formats for the event, such as bringing Mag Labs, a MAGFest laboratory, to other events, or maybe to maker spaces, to hold events at maker spaces. I'm not sure what the most recent info is on their plans, but email researchteam@magfest.org, or alternatively head in the Mag Labs channel in Slack to ask them what's up, and I'm sure they're always looking for more help. Someone anonymous asked an inappropriate illicit question that we will skip. Question asks, any dates for Spring MagCon yet? And if not, any good estimates? As I mentioned earlier, it's probably going to be in May. We opted for it's like it was either late April or May. Passover weekend's in April, and then the weekend after Passover is AwesomeCon. There's no fucking way we're doing MagCon the same weekend as AwesomeCon. So we're going for May. We'll see exactly when it is. And all the hotel team's working on it. Good luck to them. Any news yet on Spring MagCon? Asks Bunny. No, A lot of people ask about that. Peter says, at Super, Ashley offered her help in advertising. With her leaving, do you have any plans for making advertising available for departments? I'm not entirely. You can clarify, Peter, what you mean in the Slack chat, or submit another one. But I'll take a stab at what I think you mean. When it comes to advertising, the open positions in the departments, the stops department is a great resource for that. They can help you put stuff on the job board. They can send out emails to people who need to sign up for shifts and be like, hey, we'd be interested in signing up here. If you're talking about advertising content, talk to the social media, like social media requests channel, or promo at MAGFest, social media at MAGFest, kind of the same deal. But DAC, as our communications head, it's his job to make sure that the things that people want promoted, content that people want promoted, gets promoted. So yeah, so if it's for positions, continue to talk to stops. Josiah's a good contact for now, and for like advertising of events and whatnot. The social media people. Anonymous asks, the MAG growth plan is to put on more MAGFests, but I've heard talk that this is maybe being reevaluated. Is there still a 5-year expansion plan in mind, or is that changing? I don't think that the plan to put on more MAGFests, I don't think that plan is being reevaluated. I know that one thing that you could reevaluate is what exactly we do with the Gaylord. How full do we allow it to get? Does there exist some weird bizarre universe where we switch Super Mag to summer so that outdoor space in National Harbor becomes more available, and then you can fit more people? I can't quite say with that. The 5-year expansion planned. Dom had put together a 5-year plan that was, to put it lightly, ambitious. It's good that Dom's got the ambition, because I'm so operationally focused that without any push to grow, I would just work until we click a button. Until we're so efficient that we click a button and MAGFest just happens. In general, the expansion strategy is, yes, more instead of making more MAGFest, making main event bigger, make more MAGFests, more MAGFest events that people can attend, so that like the Super isn't coveted and so valuable that people can go to another one. MAGWest is a big opportunity for that, because the community out there is clamoring for something like that. The people we have helping are amazing, and I'm really excited to see how that's going to grow, especially after a couple false starts. I am a much bigger fan of the new leadership that we have, and more leadership that we can find out there. It's almost certainly likely, like you wouldn't run Super MAGFest without a paid employee. It's likely that as MAGWest scales up, they'll need someone that's dedicated to that. Technically, we have someone dedicated to it right now. Deborah and Dak are helping that leadership. Some other cool stuff we got going on. Our game over shows, where we basically tell a local event concert organizer in their city, hold a video game concert, chiptune video game DJ, featuring performers in your area. you can brand it as MAGFest. We'll help promote online. If it doesn't sell as well as you hope it would, we'll cover the difference. And that's worked great for making sure that video game concerts pop up all over the country, and we hardly ever actually have to cover that difference. And the Richmond crew has been doing that 2 years. They're great running the show. We are our Team Japan, our Japanese guest liaison team. We are, I would say, within the next 9 months, there's a very real possibility that we'll have a small, like 50-person MAGFest concert in Japan, featuring local, like Japanese local video game bands. I'm hopeful. We'll see. But like partnerships with events like VGM-Con out in Minneapolis, who is run by Gamers Rhapsody, is the name of the parent organization, and so Gamers Rhapsody is trying to run multiple events. Helping them out with the arcade crew. The arcade crew is absolutely jonesing to do the Awesome Con arcade. And it baffles me as to how they have that much energy, but they want to do a lot more of that stuff. Now, of course, I need to play dad and make sure they aren't overextending themselves. But the arcade folks really want to make sure that arcade scenes get going in other cities and whatnot. And if there's things that MAGFest can do to help that, such as connecting people together, giving tips on how to hold arcade events or concerts or anything like that. If we're able to jumpstart a community in a city, anywhere in the world, to do stuff that we support, that they wouldn't otherwise do, that is a success in my book. Even if you never have a MAGFest event in that city ever again, ideally, you leverage that to, maybe do some MAGFest stuff over there. Even if you never did that, that's mission pursuit right there. That's making sure that the world, we make the world a better place through video games. We give people the resources and inspiration to do things that they couldn't have done before. And if every city in the world has video game music and an arcade, and none of them are brand with MAGFest, what was me? More video game music concerts. Obviously, I'm going on the far end here. We do, practically speaking, it's great to spread the MAGFest name, love brand, and it's getting easier to do that. Considering rebranding the Game Over series of concerts into MAGFest DLC, developing local communities, and DLC could actually be more than just concerts. It could also, it's resources on how to do, like I said before, resources on how to do any number of things within the MAGFest mission. Oh man, we got a lot of conversations. So Anonymous, I talked for a while about that 5-year expansion question. You can ask more if you like. I gotta move on here. Spicy Nacho, Tim Keinsbauer asks, can you please mention that Stock is looking for an events department head? Thanks and gracias. Yeah, MagStock, my favorite MAGFest event. It's June 26th. It's mid-June in Central Virginia, camping event. It's great. Tim is the new co-chair who's helping out Mark Mernan, the other co-chair, and they're looking for someone to help plan out some of the side activities that go on. like slip and slide was the thing they do, though I don't know if you count that under events. But to any fun activities, they're looking for help for. So if you want to put together fun activities on the campground, I don't know, hide and seek, tag, scavenger hunt, geocaching. I guess it's the same as scavenger hunts. Head to, I guess, Magstock at magfest.org, the Magstock channel in Slack. Spicy Nacho, that's Tim, one of the heads, and Bit Biter, Mark Mernan, the other head. Bunny Smith asks, do you want to cover advisory committee again? Make sure people know about it. Yeah. So the BOD advisory committee. The BOD, in traditional nonprofit structure, BOD doesn't really do much of anything other than not specifically MAGFest, like in general, traditionally, BOD like approves budgets and just make sure like there's funding for the year, and then they meet like 3 times a year, 3-4 times a year. So the MAG BOD doing far too much, and things outside their wheelhouse, which is why they've started to delegate things to people that actually know what they're doing, while the BOD coordinates. So they got a few different committees going on, or task forces, which is a much cooler term than committee. They got one for finance, which is staffed by what is it? Song, Nugget, Cody Wilson, people who do finance in their day jobs. Also, we have the future committee, so the people that have their eyes farther down the road than me. By the way, either of these committees, you're welcome to submit questions to. How do you actually, if you're looking to get in touch with any of them, just BOD at magfest.org, they'll point you in the right direction. But we also have the BOD advisory committee, which is kind of just like general operational advice to the BOD and the executive director. Stuff like when there's just like really tough problems and maybe sensitive problems that involve having to work with specific people, or maybe like with like security things are so baffling that like you just need to ask someone at that high level for help. They meet, I don't know, they meet every month-ish or so. They just started up. Bunny, if you could remind me how exactly. Oh yeah, it's the advisory channel in Slack, and you can also again email the BOD and they'll point you in the right direction. So I'm gonna move on from that one. Again, check out the advisory channel in Slack. There should be info on how to submit questions, and if you can't find info there, the BOD can point you in the right direction. I'm going to move on, but Bunny just submit another question if you want me to put more info in. Peter says, as a follow-up, MIVS, the MAGFest Indie Video Game Showcase, relies on game developers to apply, and those are who we bring into our showcase. It's been a constant conversation on how we can bring in more game developers. That's what I was wondering. Oh, he was asking about MIVS, right? Yeah, that was asking about advertising earlier. Yeah, yeah, that wouldn't be Ashley's end. That'd be more Dax territory. Cold Guy asks, what is going on with the Futures Committee? How can we add our ideas to it? That should be where is it? The future? Yeah, future. Pound future. Hashtag future. In Slack. Also, I think BOD-future at magfest.org. And again, when in doubt, BOD at magfest.org. That's, again, the future committee is if you're interested in getting eyes down the road. there's a question that, oh god. All right, so someone asks about McFlurry. How many McFlurries were the Hamburger asks about McFlurries at SuperMag 2019. So someone actually, it was cute. Dropped off. I walking down the ops hallway and I see on one of those cabinets on the side, just sitting there unattended, 4 McFlurries with a note on it that says "For Nick." I have no idea who got them. I have no idea how long they've been there. I'm not dead, so clearly they weren't poisoned. Ashley is still alive, and so is Rebar. So, but on that note, Paul had actually talked to me about this a little bit. Like the McFlurry thing is a pretty ridiculous story. That's like, how did that happen? On the other hand, it's like making jokes about it is like indirectly making jokes at like a security incident involving someone that had like severe psychological issues, which seems not in great taste. I don't know. That's about all I got to say on that. My fire went out. Oh shit! Wow, I've been talking for a while, haven't I? Well, Christmas Chronicles. We're gonna look at this. There we go. Okay. I think that about covers it. I am going to make the Hangout link. While I'm doing that, that's the last call to get any questions into the forum. I've been talking for so long. There's no way I can look through the chat log at this point. So here's your warning. Get those questions in. Okay, even accounting for stream delay, looks like we are pretty good. So I will hop into that Google Meet, which is basically Google Hangouts that you pay for, even though we don't have to. We don't have to pay for it because we're a nonprofit. Thank you very much, Google. So yeah, feel free to join in there. We can do a video chat. I will see you all probably next month. Yeah. Peace.